Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of No Niche Zone, the podcast about everything. I'm your host, Priscilla Davies, and I am so happy to be back here with you again today. Oh man, this is truly a labor of love, guys, because literally, like, as soon as I start getting my notes together for the show, like, this buzz of excitement goes through my body, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to, like, talk about this, and that, you know what I'm saying? So this is, when I say I'm happy to be here with you guys, I truly, truly mean it. This is truly a labor of love for me. Thank you so much for supporting my labor of love. How's everybody doing? I was driving on the way over here, and I heard on the radio that there is a female celebrity who is now selling bath soap made from her bath water. There is a female celebrity who is selling bath soap made from her bath water, okay? And they didn't reveal who the celebrity was. I was like, you know what? Hopefully by the time I get there, they reveal it. I didn't get here in time. But on my walk over to the studio, I had to look it up because I have to know who this is. I got to know who this is. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, it is Sydney Sweeney, and she has partnered with Dr. Swatches Dr. Swatch, and she has a soap line coming out where each soap has drops of her bath water in it. Yikes. Oh man. I mean, it's first of all, it's like, why would I want someone's dirty bath water to use to clean my body? Hello? And I know it's only a few drops, so it's it's probably like a negligible amount, but it's still like she messy, you messy girl. You know exactly what you're doing with that bath water and that soap. It's giving spell work for those who know. If you know, you know. It's giving, she wants to make sure that her fans are fans forever and ever. I just thought that was such a wild concept. We've heard about, candles that are made to smell like people's, pubic areas. We've heard of things like this, people using drops of their bodily fluids in this cologne or what. Okay. But Lord, using someone else's dirty bathwater to get yourself clean, it's not adding up. It's not adding up. But yeah, listen, shout out to Sydney Sweeney. Make a buck how you're going to make a buck. Get them fans to come back over and over again. If that means you have to enchant them with your bathwater, hey, sis, do what you gotta do, okay? Do what you gotta do. I just hope motherfucker. Well, let me just keep it pushing. Anyway, so that was my ride over here today. Let's get into the show, yeah? All right. Black people. Are you ready to take down another shady, racist company together? Because I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but our boycott of Target, previously known as Target, previously affectionately known as Target, but forthwith will be known as Target. Our boycott of Target as the Black community and those who stand in solidarity with all people who are affected by their removal of DEI programs, it has been a success. It is doing the damn thing. Have you guys been paying attention? Target recently announced that its net sales in the first quarter fell nearly 3%, and executives acknowledged the reaction to the company's DEI rollback played a role in the declining sales. Hello. And the company acknowledged that the reaction to the DEI rollback has played a role in the declining sales. Target's sales were $23.8 billion in the first quarter, down from $24.5 billion in the first quarter of 2024. Y'all, We told y'all we weren't playing around, didn't we? Didn't we? And y'all didn't listen to us. You Target said these Negroes gonna be back. We're just gonna go talk to Al Sharpton and these Negroes will be back. Well, apparently the lie detector test has proven that was a lie. The Target CEO, Brian Cornell, talked about, quote, exceptionally challenging environment, and that saw declines in both traffic and sales. Quote, he said, we face several additional headwinds this quarter, including 5 consecutive months of declining consumer confidence. That's a euphemism for the blacks are mad at us. Uncertainty regarding the impact of potential tariffs and the reaction to the updates we shared on Belonging in January. Belonging is the program, their belonging strategy. That's what they called it, the DEI stuff that they were doing there. While we believe each of these factors played a role in the first quarter performance, we can't reliably estimate the impact of each one separately, end quote. Of course he's not going to, because he's not going to admit it. Of course he's not. Of course he's not. They wouldn't tell you specifically what it is. But all you need to know is that Target is hitting some rough times, especially because we black people said enough is enough. The Target CEO, according to Newsweek, Target stock fell about 4%. 4% as investors reacted to its declining sales. So Target had all these great DEI initiatives. They promoted black brands. They had DEI initiatives and programs throughout their organization. And black consumers, you know, we love Target. We love some Target. I love me some Target, honey. I used to love me some Target. I mean, Target was one of my happy places. I would go to Target, pull up, have me a couple puffy puffs in the parking lot. Don't tell nobody. Come on. And then I would go into the Target and I would spend the next 2 to 3 hours in Target heavenly bliss, walking up and down the aisles, buying unnecessary things, imagining who I would be if I had these objects in my home, fantasizing about the lifestyle that I would be living if I started buying journals and beautiful pens. You know you're gonna buy a journal at Target that you're never gonna use, okay? And black people, we collectively, especially black women, we love Target. We loved Target. And then they played in our motherfucking faces. And we said, oh, really, Target? Bet. We're not coming back. And when I tell you we have abandoned Target with the quickness, I have not been in a Target since the boycott started in January of this year. I have not been in a Target once. I had a swimsuit that I needed to return and I even let that shit expire. Not really intentionally, but partly because I wasn't even trying to go over there. When I tell you something about what Target did with ending the DEI programs, it just like snipped the emotional attachment that I think a lot of black people, especially black women, had to Target. It's like I said, Target was my happy place, one of my happy places. And now it's like, I'm good. I haven't even, there must be something spiritual going on here with Target. There must be something spiritual because the way black people just instantly turn the switch with no remorse. I mean, everybody that I hear talking about boycotting Target has talked about how effortless it has been, how they don't even think about Target anymore. It's like, Target who? As Mariah Carey said, I don't know her. And that's how us black people have reacted to them rolling back their DEI initiatives as soon as Donald Trump got into office. Y'all were a little too eager. Target. And now you're paying the price. You showed us who you were. And as our great elder who has moved on to the ancestral plane, as our great elder Maya Angelou once said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time. Actually, I think it's when somebody shows you who they are. And Target truly showed us who they were. When they said, "Oh, we don't care. Mr. Trump's back in office. Let's kowtow. Let's alienate and screw our part of our customer base and disrespect them and go and kowtow to the Trump administration and get rid of this." Because it was giving very much, we didn't want this anyway. Whew, thank you for giving us an excuse to roll this back. That's what it was giving. And black people intuitively peeped that. And we said, okay, word, we got you. Watch and see. And now here we are in the first quarter, and the Target boycott has sales down by 3%. Almost $1 billion less in profit from the first quarter of 2024 to the first quarter of now. That's a lot of Skrilla. That's a lot of paper. That's a lot of dough. That's a lot of bread. That's a lot of cheese. That's a lot of racks. That's a lot of stacks. That's a lot of bands. That's a lot of lettuce. That's a lot of greenbacks. That's a lot of loot. That's a lot of... What was the last one I was going to say? Moolah, baby. That's a lot of dough that Target forfeited because they miscalculated and decided to alienate black people and other people who will be affected by the DEI rollbacks. And so now Q1 has showed them what time it is. Let's see what happens moving forward, because I got to keep it real. As someone who, like I said, Target used to be my happy place. I don't know, something just severed in me spiritually, emotionally when they did this. I don't even think about that place anymore. And I don't know if they can get us back. I really don't. I think this is it. I think this is y'all done fucked up. And now we gotta go no contact, Bookie. So shout out to my black kings and queens and royalty out there. Shout out to my black homies, my friends, my family, my cousins. Shout out to my black people out there who put a foot in the sand, who put a line in the sand and said, no, we're not going to accept being disrespected by these companies who want to take our money while simultaneously disrespecting us. Shout out to us for doing that. And now I ask you, who's next? And let's move on. Okay. On this podcast, let me turn my ringer off. I don't want nobody calling me. On this podcast, we talk about the true nature of men. The true nature of the human male. We talk about their true nature. We talk about their true intentions and motivations in dating and engaging with women. We talk about their tactics and what they do to try to manipulate and to gaslight. We go deep into all of these things. We talk about all of this stuff. And I talk about it in general on my social media. And there's one question that I receive all the time whenever I talk about the true nature of men, the true nature of the human male, the true nature, their true intentions behind dating and being in relationships and marriage. Whenever I talk about that, I always get one question. And it goes something to the effect of, well, now that we know all this, now that we know, okay, that it's not women who trap men with pregnancy, it's men who trap women with pregnancy. Now that we know that men actively go out of their ways to make their partners, their wives and girlfriends crazy, doing little tiny things to keep them off their game, like that clip that we played last week. Go check it out, of the man admitting that. Now that we understand that, now that we know that, that men don't see relationships in the same way that we do, that they see them more in a utilitarian way than we do, not in the fantastical romance way. Now that we know that, where do we go from here? How do you date knowing this about men in the modern era in 2025? And I want to answer that question because it's a question that comes up a lot when we talk about the true nature of a man. I mean, the next logical question is, well, How do we deal with them moving forward? How do we date men knowing what we know about them in 2025 in the modern era? And so I'm going to answer that question for you. Ladies, now that we live in the era of information and we know the truth about these males and how they really behave and their true nature and what they really want from you in a relationship, their true intentions. Now that we know this, the information is being readily spread amongst us. If you want to date in 2025, here is how you do it. Number one, and I'm going to touch your hand when I say this because you're not going to want to, you're not going to like the answer. You're not going to like what I have to say next. The way you date men in 2025, knowing everything we know now about their true nature. Number one, you don't. I told you didn't want to hear it. I told you didn't want to hear it. The clear and obvious answer is you don't. You stay far away from them. You keep your distance. Now that you know the truth, you keep far, far away from these motherfuckers. You don't date them, period. You use all of that energy that you would have used for dating and for marriage and finding the one and a family, and you use it to build yourself and your own life. And if you choose to have children, build up your children. Don't date. That's the answer. Be single. That's how you date men in 2025, knowing all that we know about them now from discussions on the internet and the truth coming out and women being able to share their stories with each other unencumbered. You don't. And I hate to break it to you, but that is the answer. You just don't. You gotta let them go, girl. You gotta decenter them motherfuckers from your life. You got to be okay with being single, because the truth is, being single 99.86432% of the time is better than being with these motherfuckers. That's a fact. That's science. But I know y'all don't want to hear that, right? You don't want to hear that the truth, the answer is, knowing what we know now about men and their true intentions and their true nature, the answer to how do we date moving forward is you don't date. That's the answer. But I know y'all don't want to hear that. So I'm going to give you the answer for if you're one of those ladies who just needs to learn the hard way. You're one of those people who's like, you know what? I need to smash my face in the ground at least 5 times before I decide maybe the ground is stronger than I am. So look, so I'm going to give you, like I said, your best bet is not to date these men at all. That's your best bet. But if you really still want to be dating in 2025, knowing the truth about these males' true nature, if you really want to be dating, then all right, I'm going to break down how you need to be dating in 2025, knowing all of the stuff that we know now. Okay? Number 1, only date men with money and resources. Period. Full stop. If you must date in 2025, ladies, if you really need that, yeah. And you really need to date, you can't, you despite hearing all the bullshit, seeing all the bullshit, you still want to be with these motherfuckers, then make sure that you only date men who are rich and have resources. Do you understand me? And I'm going to tell you exactly why you do that. Women are a blessing to men. There is an energy exchange that occurs when women come into a man's presence. And that energy benefits the man way more than it benefits the women. Men drink up our energy like energy vampires. I mean, let's keep it 100. We create blessings in men's lives. Just being in our presence energizes these motherfuckers, okay? Just being in our presence energizes them. And then actually involving ourselves with them, getting into becoming in a relationship with them, we are constantly enhancing men's lives. That is the nature of the woman. Okay? You bring us something and we will multiply that. Okay? We are an asset. We literally benefit these men just by being in their presence. There's a reason why when you get onto an elevator and there's plenty of fucking space, but that guy who was on there first doesn't move and backs you into a corner so that you have to be practically pushed up on him, even though there's all this other space, and he puts himself directly in a location that no matter what part of the elevator you stand on, you still gonna be practically pressed up against him. And the reason why he won't move and he stays in your personal space is because even the strangers on the street benefit from your feminine energy. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why these motherfuckers be pushing up on you in public spaces, because they're drinking up the energy. And I know y'all is like, oh, not y'all. I know the men who are watching, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry. I'm going to prove it. Don't worry. But I just want to reiterate, ladies, our energy is like, it's like, imagine a drug. Imagine cocaine. Okay, imagine cocaine, but cocaine that also has like vitamins and minerals and nutrients in it. That's what women are to men. That's what we provide to them. They be getting high off of our energy, and that shit nourishes them. And not just our energy, but we physically will help them build their lives, create their legacy, right? And I know that a lot. I know I'm gonna get pushback. But that's okay, because I got something for that. All right. This is a clip of this guy who breaks down how men be feeding off our energy. Listen, y'all, and this is a man. I always like to get things from the horse's mouth, because when a woman says it, y'all don't believe us.
Take advantage, not consciously. There was a lot of situations where I didn't want nothing else from a woman but that freak vibration. We get off on in a way that's not just sexual gratification. It empowers us. It's an energetic siphoning of y'all energy when y'all are that surrenderous to us in the most intimate, vulnerable space. That shit supercharges a nigga. We could say what we want to say about Diddy. Look what this nigga has been able to accomplish, largely due to the energy he's able to siphon from these women and some of the ways that we now seeing. He ain't the only one. Powerful men have cracked the code and understand the sexual and tantric magic. Put up in the post the other day from Cam Newton. He was like, do you understand the power it is to conquer a woman? Consciously or subconsciously, these niggas be knowing, bro. They got access to so much feminine energy. The more of it they able to consume, the longer that money get. The more elongated their career becomes.
From the horse's mouth, ladies. I hope you heard that. Save this video so that you can play it back the next time that motherfucker doesn't respond to your text messages and you debating whether you want to give him a 14th chance. Save that video. He put it in plain English for us, consciously and subconsciously. So even if you got a so-called quote unquote good guy, that motherfucker may still be subconsciously sucking you dry. He said siphoning their energy. And he's talking about through sex, right? He's talking about sexually. But this applies in other ways. Like I said, it's not just sexually. It's the random stranger on the elevator who won't give you space on the elevator. He's siphoning your energy. He's breathing in your good perfume, your good body oils, all that. He's feeling your good vibrations. You heard what he said. He said, look at how these men will siphon our energy, and the more they siphon, the longer their money gets. He said, look at Diddy. You can say what you want about Diddy, but he is a master at siphoning female feminine energy for his benefit. He said, Cam Newton said, there's nothing like conquering. You hear what he said? He didn't say nothing like loving a woman. Nothing like cherishing a woman, nothing like taking care of your there is nothing like conquering a woman, which is another form of energy exchange. We talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes ago. We talked about how a jealous man will destroy you and enjoy doing it because he's drinking that energy that he's getting off of you, that he's siphoning from you and he's draining from you and depleting you. And he's just getting stronger and bigger and more successful, money getting longer and longer and longer. Meanwhile, you're looking like hell. There was a trend on TikTok a few weeks ago where women, gorgeous women, would come on here talking about, look at how my ex had me looking, and it would, no lie, jump scare. They would cut to a picture or a video of them when they were married or still with this motherfucker and jump scare. You will be like, that was you? I mean, bags under the eyes, hair looking a mess, 50, 60 pounds overweight, 50, 60 pounds underweight, looking unhealthy, unwell, stressed in a motherfucker, every other fingernail broken. And then you see them today and they look like goddesses because they got rid of that siphoning energy, that siphoning male energy in their life, y'all. The man said it. He said it with his own mouth. You better be listening, ladies. So what does that have to do with dating? What does that siphoning that men do with our energy have to do with dating? They are benefiting from just being in our presence. So they need to compensate us for that. They need to compensate and reciprocate. And in this society, that means money, baby. You need to be spending money on these women. Ladies, if he is not wealthy, he does not have resources, and not just having the resources, but if he's not generous with you with them, if he's stingy, he still doesn't, he still kick him to the curb, no matter how rich he is. If he's stingy, if he's holding it over your head every time he buys you a little knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. If he's being stingy, that he doesn't count. It doesn't matter how rich he is, kick him to the curb. They need to be wealthy, have resources, and be generous with you, with them. Because just your presence is giving them benefit, is benefiting them. They are siphoning our energy. And if they are not compensating us in return, we will be depleted. Like that trend on TikTok where them bad bitches we're showing you what they look like when they were in relationships. There's a reason they look so run down, and it's because they were being drained. They were giving, and getting absolutely nothing in return. And so if you need to learn the hard way to stay away from these men, and you desperately still need to be dating in 2025, that's rule number 1. Make sure you're dating a man that is wealthy and has resources and is generous with those resources towards you. That's number 1. And if you just so desperately need to get you a broke man, if you one of them hoes that just can't learn the easy way, girl, if you like, but I like him so much, and he's a broke man, then he needs to be providing some service to you in your life to compensate for all the blessings you are going to endow on him, from the energy that he's going to siphon from you, from the building up of his life that you will do, from the way that you will take care of his home and his children, all of those benefits, energetically and physically, financially, mentally and spiritually, all of those benefits. If he doesn't have the money to pay you to do that, then he needs to be providing some other service. That motherfucker better be keeping your house clean, spick and span. He better be cooking every goddamn meal. You better not even know where the kitchen is, okay? That motherfucker better be taking care of your children like the princes and princesses and royalty that they are. This motherfucker better be taking care of the yard. You should have this fool needs to be, like they say, your golden retriever. If you just love him so much, despite the fact that he's broke, and you just got to get with this broke man, despite the fact that it's never worked out well for any women who got with broke niggas. If you got to do that shit, then make sure he is providing major service to you. You're the one that's going out there earning that money. You better come back to a spotless house every single day. You better come back to a cooked, warm meal every single day. You better come home to clean, beautiful, well taken care of children. Okay? You better never even know where to take your car for an oil change. That should be none of your business. This man should be building up your home life so that you can go out there and flourish out in the world. If he doesn't have the finances to take care of you and you just desperately need to date this broke motherfucker, which, girls, just stop. But if that's what you need, then make sure he's doing something for you. It is imperative, ladies, because if you don't make sure that he is compensating you for the benefits that you are providing to his life, he is reciprocating. And it shouldn't even be reciprocation. He needs to be straight up paying you because of how much we benefit these motherfuckers' lives. If you're not getting that, then he needs to be providing a service so that you are able to go out there and flourish in the world. If not, you should not be dating him, period. Do you understand me? You shouldn't be dating at all. But if you're so desperate that you like, I still need, and you want to date men, then you need to be very picky and choosy about the men that you date. If he doesn't have money, if he doesn't have resources that he's generous with, if he's a broke motherfucker and he's not cleaning your house up, taking care of your kids, taking care of everything that needs to be taken care of, you're essentially administrative assistant. If he's not doing all that, kick his ass to the curb. Move on and find a better one, because they are the phrase "plenty of fish in the sea" is for us ladies. We don't have a problem picking up dudes. If anything, we're fighting them off with a stick. Can't even walk down the street in peace. We don't have a problem. Getting a man is easy. Dick is the cheapest commodity on this motherfucking planet. Not only is it free, but y'all have to pay to give it to us. You have to pay me to let you put that shit in me. Okay? It's like it's so useless that you gotta pay to be able to give it out. Okay? And no, good sex is not enough. Okay? Good sex is not enough. That's not enough. He needs to be doing, because remember what that man said. Remember what that video that I played said. That in those sexual moments where you're surrendering to this man, he's just sucking up your life force. And he will take that life force and use it to his benefit and kick you to the curb when he gets to the level that he wants to be at. That's how they operate. So the first rule of dating in 2025, knowing what we know about the true nature of men, ladies, the first rule is only date rich and resourceful men who are generous with that abundance and will take care of you and will provide for you financially. And I'm not saying take care of you as in like, bitch, you still better have your own damn job. Don't ever depend on a man. I mean, like, he's paying you to be his stay-at-home wife. It's a difference. It's a difference. I'm not saying that he's compensating you by having a house and a roof over your head. No. That fool is also putting money in your bank account every day. You are doing a service, providing, child care for his kids, running his household, being, sexually available to him, cooking his food. So he better put some money in that account every damn week. Every damn week. You should be making money in that relationship because of how much of a benefit we are to their being and their well-being. And I'm not playing, ladies. I'm not playing. I'm being for real. And if you don't believe me, watch how, if you get with a man who doesn't provide those things for you and you're giving, watch how quickly he depletes you, and watch how quickly he takes the energy that he's siphoning from you and multiplies that for himself and leaves you in the dust. Story, tale as old as time. Number 2, if you are dating men in 2025 and you are still dating men in 2025, ladies, knowing everything that you know about their true nature and their true intentions and how they be gaslighting and manipulating and all the weird shit, the abuse, all that stuff, knowing that, the most dangerous time in a woman's life is when she's pregnant because her man is more likely to be violent with her. Yikes. If you still want to date in that climate, knowing all of this, I already told you my rule number 1. Rule number 2, date sparingly, occasionally, and only for fun. If you're not dating the rich dude, then you need to be dating just for fun. shits and giggles, to get your rocks off, have somebody to go do some things with, have somebody to spend money on you, so have somebody to take you out on nice trips and take you to nice restaurants and spending sprees on you. That's it. Date very, very casually. Don't get emotionally caught up with none of these motherfuckers because they don't have the emotional intelligence. And the truth is, they don't care. They don't want to be emotionally involved with you because they only see you as an object, as a tool to be used to better themselves, to get gratification, to build up their legacy, to take care of their children. They don't see you as a human. They see you as a tool. So you need to treat them the same. Use them the way they use us. Have them take you out for dinners, do all this fun stuff and keep it pushing. No commitments, no monogamy. The only exclusivity you should have is for the purpose of making sure that you are practicing safe sex. That's it. That's the only exclusivity you should be having with these motherfuckers. You should be out there dating as many men as you want, having as much fun as you want, and and most importantly, not taking any of it seriously. Just have fun. Just like they do when they're in their little player before they hit 30 and decide they got to settle down and find the wife. Just like they do. But that should be your whole entire dating experience, because truly there is no benefit in dating women for men, or dating men for women. There is no benefit for women. We get nothing out of it under the current social contract. We get nothing out of it. And not only do we get nothing out of it, but we get drained. We get energetically siphoned, like that man said that most men do consciously and subconsciously to women. We get nothing out of it. So you should not be investing anything into it. You hear me? And this especially goes to my young girls out there. Y'all should be having fun. Date as many as you want, but the truth is, in my opinion, you really shouldn't even be. You should just be dating a time. You should be occasionally dating and be living your best life. Hang out with your homegirls, because those are the people who are going to pour into you. Those are the people who are going to lift you up and hold you down. Not these motherfuckers that will drain you dry. Okay. So if you don't want to do the serious relationship where you date only rich men, go back to step one. Go back to step one. If you don't want to do that and you want to just have fun, cool, but just have fun. Don't get emotionally invested in these guys that you're dating. Don't get emotionally wrapped up. Give them nothing. Nothing. Don't even be nice to them. Be mean to their asses on top of it. Because on top of it, like I said, no matter what type of energy that they get from us, it's all good. Even if it's negative energy, they love our negative attention because they're still eating that shit up. They're still siphoning energy off of it. Like the little kid, right? Who behaves bad because they want mommy and daddy's attention. It's the same dynamic. So even being rude and nasty to them, being mean, don't play with them. Don't spare their feelings. Obviously, within the context of keeping yourself safe, because we know that a lot of these men have no emotional regulation. So, if you hurt their little feelings, they're gonna hit you and hurt you because you make my feelings hurt. That's how these men be. These grown ass motherfucking men. No emotional regulation, no emotional intelligence. They're sitting here wanting to beat you, literally murder you because you hurt their feelings. So make sure that you're only out there having fun, okay? If you're not dating rich motherfuckers, make sure that they're out here taking care of all of your needs. That fool better be picking you up, dropping you off, cleaning your house, taking everything. And you should be dating very casually and very sparingly and very unemotionally, very emotionally detached. Don't get caught up, because the truth is, he does not care. He does not love you. He's saying the right words. He's love bombing you to get you emotionally sucked in, so that when he starts implementing the penny method, look that up. Look up the penny method. When he starts implementing the penny method and starts nickel and diming his love for you, because it never was there in the first place. He was just love bombing you. Okay. When he starts doing that, you'll realize too little too late, 3 motherfucking kids, a house and a mortgage later, that this fool never gave a damn about you and only saw you as a tool for his own benefit. So don't get emotionally invested. Just lightly date these motherfuckers. Go out and have fun in the bedroom, be very, very safe. And speaking of sexually, y'all ladies, you should be the number of dudes that you should be letting up in your temple. I hate to speak like that, because there's a lot of connotations with that, but the amount of it should be minimal. You should be sleeping with the tiniest percentage of these men because of what we talked about when it comes to that energy exchange and the fact that, like that man said that I played the video, go back and watch it. They're siphoning our energy in those moments, ladies. They're siphoning our energy. So in terms of intimacy, I'm telling you, because the truth is, when you get to a certain age, and honestly, you don't even have to once you hit your 30s, really. Once you hit like 23, really, as a lady, the vast majority of the men that you have slept with, you will regret sleeping with. That is a fact. That is a fact. You will look back and be like, I can't believe I let that man come near me with a 10-foot pole. That's why whenever, ladies come up with rape allegations after the fact, like years later, however long later, and they come out with rape allegations, you'll notice that one of the responses, the go-to responses of men is this logic of, well, you don't get to declare rape just because you regretted it. In their mind, they think, or at least that's the lie that they're telling, the gaslighting, bullshit, manipulative ass lie that they're telling, is that to them, they see, women coming out years later accusing men of rape in part. Yes, they see it as potential money grabs, all that stuff. But another one of their narratives is that you're just regretting having slept with them. That's why you're accusing him of rape. It's not because he raped you, it's because you just regret sleeping with them. The reason why they say that is because intuitively, consciously or subconsciously or both, they know that the vast majority of women who have slept with them, who have given them the time of day, regret it. They know that. And women, it's the truth. We know that. The vast majority of them, I'm thinking about all the men that I've slept with, the men that I've been with, and I'm gonna tell you, I think it's 2 motherfuckers. Two that I don't look back and say, and it's not necessarily a regret of like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. More so of a regret of, if I had known the type of trash person you really were, I would have never let you get as close to me as I let you get, because you didn't fucking deserve it. Which goes back to the energetic exchange that I'm talking about. These motherfuckers have to earn the right to be in the presence of a woman. They have to pay for it. They have to compensate us for it. They have to earn that right, because we provide such benefit by just our existence. You wondering why these weirdos are pushing up on you in that crowded bar? It's because he's sucking up your energy, your life force, that feminine energy that he can't get otherwise. We offer so much just by our existence, and then add on top of it the actual things that we do to better the men in our lives. I saw a TikTok where this guy was talking about how he's a recruiter, and how many times he's had women calling in to ask about their husband's resumes, women submitting their husband's resumes. And then you go into the comments and it's all of these people who work in HR, people who work in recruitment, women themselves talking about how, I'm the reason why my man got that job. I'm the one that did his resume. I'm the one that submitted it. I'm the one that made sure that he followed up. This is what we do, ladies. This is the service that we provide for these men that we love, because we think that they love us back, when the truth is they're just using us. They're just using us for those exact things that we're doing altruistically. This motherfucker, without you, wouldn't have that job because you're the one that forced him to go and interview. This fool, there are so many stories of stay-at-home moms who end up going back into the workforce after decades of not being in there, and then they have no work experience to speak of, yet they were the ones single-handedly running their husband's business that they got no title for, no recognition for, no compensation for. And I could go on and on about the service and the benefits that we provide to the men in our lives. And it's not just our partners. It's even your motherfucking coworker, your weaponized incompetence as coworker who's asking you for the 50-11th time where to find the motherfucking stapler. So, ladies, we offer so freaking much, and that's us actively and also passively just existing, them drinking up our energy. We offer them so freaking much. There is no reason for you to be doing when I tell you, you should be doing the bare minimum because they benefit so much. Just think about it like a scale, y'all. Okay? This is what you as a lady are offering to your man. This is what your man is offering to you. And you doing all this. Wait, I guess we'll go this way. This is you. You doing all this. Look how your man rising. And what is he doing? What's he offering you? Nothing. So this shit never ends up like this. You never end up getting lifted up. It's always like this. And this dynamic exists just standing in their presence. Because just being in their presence, they're siphoning our energy. So you best believe this motherfucker better start paying up. This motherfucker better start doing some work. Better get in the yard and start chopping some trees. Okay? So yeah, ladies, if you are still out here trying to date men, you need to make sure that you have decentered men from your life and that you are approaching this either casually as fuck with no intentions of committing to anybody, with no intentions of emotionally getting invested, or you need to make sure, and honestly, you should still not be getting emotionally invested even if you end up marrying a motherfucker. Or you should be dealing with a rich man who's going to compensate you for all of the benefits you are bringing to his life. Don't forget, you never see a woman walking in with 3-4 men on her arm. It's always men walking in with 3-4 women on their arm. Why? Because just our presence is social cred, street cred for these motherfuckers. Just our presence makes other men look at them, and it raises their value in society. Just having a couple bitches on your arm, they don't even have to be bad bitches, okay? And you mean to tell me that this motherfucker doesn't want to, these motherfuckers are talking about what do you bring to the table? Bitch, I'm the whole table. No questions asked. So if you are one of those women that needs to learn the hard way and you're still emotionally invested in dating, you still want to be out here dating in 2025, having wisdom and awareness about the true intentions and the true nature of men and how they approach dating and marriage and children and all that stuff. If you're going to do it, then you need to make sure that you're doing it this way. Otherwise, you are just setting yourself up for failure. Let me just call you Boo Boo the Fool, because that's who you are. If you out here still genuinely looking for love from a man, you better go talk to your sister and your best friend. All right, guys, let's close out. I don't think we're gonna have enough time to get through all this, but we'll get there. Maybe we'll finish it up tomorrow. We're gonna close out with a documentary deep dive. Y'all, I saw the Discovery documentary Implosion the Titan sub disaster. Discovery made a documentary called Implosion, the Titan sub disaster, that basically documented the history and the moments that led up to the infamous implosion of the Titan submersible back in, I believe, 2023. We all remember that, right? The submersible with the billionaire who went down there with a few people, one of which was a teenager. He went down there with several other men, and to see the Titanic on this man-made submersible that he privately created with his billions of dollars. And we lost contact. They lost contact with the submersible, and it was days before they finally found the wreckage and found out that, in fact, the submersible had imploded. Well, Discovery did a documentary about this whole entire event and the history behind the submersible and what led up to this event. And after watching the documentary, the biggest message that you walk away with, the biggest takeaway that you will walk away with from watching that documentary is that the Titan submersible implosion was 1,000% preventable. And when I say 1,000% preventable, I don't mean like it was preventable in the sense that like, oh, they just made that one fatal mistake. They went left when they should have gone right. They did this when they should have done that. I'm talking egregiously preventable. I am talking one reason after another as to why this submersible should have never, ever been operating, let alone as a commercial vessel taking paying customers to the depths of the ocean, the depths of the Titanic. It was wild watching this documentary. You learn that not only was it preventable, but based on what went down, it was inevitable. It was an inevitable tragedy that could have been easily avoided. But as usual, we have a case here of a rich white man who probably never heard the word no in his whole entire life, thinking that he was invincible and that he could do whatever he wanted. And that's how we ended up with the Titan submersible. So first and foremost, this submersible, what we find out in the documentary, was the owner of this company, OceanGate, which was a underwater touring sightseeing company that was created by Stockton Rush, was a billionaire. And, when I say billionaire, this man came, I'm talking billionaire, baby. This man, I think it was his grandmother, has a symphony hall named after her in San Francisco. Okay, a symphony hall. His daddy was the president-elect of the Bohemian Club. For those, my conspiracy theorists to the front, for those who are not familiar with the Bohemian Club, this is an ultra wealthy secret occult society where they be doing their annual, occult rituals at Bohemian Grove. You may have heard of that. This is that top echelon of wealth. Okay. So this guy, Stockton Rush, he grew up in, this wealthy environment, went to school, was fascinated with space, couldn't make it to space, and decided that he was going to start exploring the depths of the ocean, because he realized that all the things that he was looking for in space, he could find right here in the depths of the ocean. And so he became fascinated with it, and he created his company, OceanGate. And he decided to create this company that would be a submersible underwater touring tourist sightseeing company. So basically he would take you to famous sites underwater and you could see them. And his first site that he wanted to launch his whole entire business off of was the Titanic. And so he decided that he was going to take people down to see the Titanic, wealthy people, because these tickets weren't cheap. You had to pay $250K, $250,000 to get a ticket on this submersible. So this was geared as a luxury, right? A luxury service that he was trying to create. And unfortunately, as you find out in the documentary, the doomed Titan submersible, when, you know, as you hear in this documentary, the doomed Titan submersible was pretty much doomed from the beginning. When you hear just how this man ran his company, how he responded to any potential issues and problems. And we're going to get into that in detail. The first sign that the Titan was doomed was in the material that owner of OceanGate, Stockton Rush, used for the submersible. And that was fiber carbon. In the documentary, you find out that this is probably one of the worst materials you can use. Like literally, they explain that fiber carbon is great up until a point. Up until a point. And once it gets to that point, it not only does it fail, but it fails catastrophically, instantly, which is what we saw happen, right? So first and foremost, the material that Stockton decided to use to be different, to be unique, to be innovative was one of the worst materials that he could have used. That was the first red flag that you find about in this documentary. And we're going to get into the rest of the crazy avoidable red flags that Stockton Rush should have heeded and his staff should have heeded that could have prevented this. And we're going to get into more of the details of this Discovery documentary, Implosion, the Titan sub disaster, in the next episode, guys. Unfortunately, we run out of time, so we're just gonna have to come back and revisit it because I mean, like I said, the details of this documentary are wild. And with that being said, folks, we've come to the end of another episode of No Niche Zone, the podcast about everything. Please subscribe to our YouTube at No Niche Zone Pod. Follow us across all platforms at No Niche Zone Pod. Send in your listener letters to nonichezone@gmail.com. And of course, you can always follow me personally across all platforms at Pris the Goddess. And with that being said, folks, we'll see you next time.